coming.
We actually strapped to the top of the bus. And then really dry fast.
Right. Let's get the mermaid. There you go.
Mom, let's keep going even though there's no driver.
Oh, you figured out how to work that thing, huh? Such a scenic shot, Sybil.
The American Army is first of all the soldiers and the captain.
And the captain, the general had better hurry.
He's coming? No.
Yep.
In a minute.
Huh? Yes. Moisha,
Moishe, turn your face.
let's have a little wave.
That's right.
Hello, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Mom, are we gonna stop to eat lunch later?
Are you hungry?
No, you don't get to eat till dinner time.
Yeah, did you get the passports?
Buddy.
Morning.
Yay!
Hello, hello, hello. We are back in Shekel again. In Sheklim.
The tour, and I'm going to do all the talking. Yeah, that's my job as a tour guide. So what I'm trying to do is just to get you a little, how shall I say, idea about Israel, about our homeland, which is really, really small. By the way, the size of Israel is exactly like, and they level it and destroy it, and everything is buried. So the only thing that remains from Roman period time is the tears that we're going to see now. I'll tell you those. Okay? Sorry I talked too much, but it's very important for us to give you.
Unless you appreciate it or listen those who get tired or go.
No, I'm used to that.
You will never know. Oh.
To show you how it was found now this is the sandstone, same kind of material that we saw that they sent quarry the people. Now this is the best. Something very important. Then I'm going to tell you lots of stories about the beautiful life that the Romans used to have. So another theater like this, the Queen, found they're going to see also where they were fighting each other, the story with animals. Here was no, where did that Let's go this way, please.
Izzy, can you just tell Claudia and I about the tower?
Stand right there. Stand on those bricks.
This is the mosque.
Hi. Hey, Kelly.
This is the mosque where the Muslims used to go to pray 5 times in a day. And the tower, on top of it, they used to found one holy man, his name was Muazzin, and he used 5 times in a day to call the people, all those who believe in Allah, which means in God, this is now the time to come and pray. And he was shouting all over. All the people used to leave everything, their job, their only kind of a business. They used to come into this house and they used to kneel on their knees and 5 times a day to cry, oh Allah, God is big and Muhammad is his prophet. Those who didn't listen. You know what they used to do to them? You like to be a Muslim? No? Sure?
You might have thought about it.
Come on, let's go.
Can't stand this heat, Jan.
We'll be coming back up too, but I think he's gonna.
Glasses. Thank you.
I'll do it. Get me in.
Okay, go.
We're waiting.
Mom, I'm wearing
There's a flag.
sunglasses.
Hold on, hold on.
Look down there.
I hope I can this break.
When we go to Masada, do we have time to go to the walk or we can all have
Well, depends when we're going to be there and how we're going to handle the environment stuff.
Okay, so
You have to deal
there's
with
choices we have to
rabbi.
make along the way.
Usually what we do is we walk down.
Are we getting off?
Walking down the
Bet you we are.
Okay, now we can go to another adventure. Come on.
How'd you like that, Jess?
Easy. What kind of stone is the white stone?
New Zealand Railway Construction Company. And they made this tunnel. When they came to this place, you see the big rock, they had there two ways. Either to go over the mountain or to go through the rock. See that? Look at this huge bridge. Now, when they came to this point, suddenly they saw that part of the water, part of the sea is coming under the rocks. That's what they did here. Or what they did here, they built a be a tunnel that goes inside the rock and around. And when you go inside, they open certain places where it makes it so beautiful. Inside is one of the nicest things to do. And of course, when the sea is very long,
I can try turning the light on if you want. Should I try it with the light on?
I think it's okay.
Mom, is there a light on there?
Yeah, Mom, there's a light on there.
I know, I don't know how to work it though.
Ask for it.
Hi, guys.
The elephant. The waters of Lebanon.
makes no difference. No, hold on. Hold on.
Thank you.
Come on, Granny, we're waiting for you.
Breckenridge was good. Yeah, we did all these cars, man.
Polly wanted to climb up.
What's our cable car?
To see what I get here.
Just coming.
Dang, you can clear yourself. Yeah, it was the cable car.
Next time, Jill, let's walk on.
Okay, you guys gonna be like a bunch of
Hey, everybody look at Izzy.
Vietnamese refugees, or put in order. 1, 2, 3, shoot! There.
Don't say that so loud.
Start to go
Because the Sinai is now Egypt, right?
That's right.
But you fought for it, when did you lose it? I forget.
Didn't lose it,
never
they gave it back.
Oh, you gave it back? That was
Three times we gave it back. First time in 1949 we conquered it.
Say hi, Grammy. Hi. We want everyone to know Grammy was on this trip because usually she was behind cameras. Bill?
Morning.
Don't tell Granny I can look a little. Jonah.
Morning.
Jack.
And over it's the following. Every Friday afternoon the people come to sit about beer and meat. Oh, take a look about meat. There's the bird.
You see the-
oh, take a look, here's it.
Look.
You already saw it.
It's gone.
The kingfisher. Over here there's a date trees. And the date trees in Israel, it's very good industry. But over here it's not exactly the right weather.
Sure.
Open it up.
They don't answer us.
Open it up. Open up. I've never seen it.
Anyway, we can see the gazelle. The gazelle is a local animal in Israel. And over here there's quite a lot. Beside, you see how they're sleeping?
Mm-hmm.
And the swan and the ugly duck inside of the water.
It's that big deal. We're
They
not
don't
gonna
care.
stir.
They don't care. And the black swans, by the way. See the black swans?
Oh yeah, let's see the black one.
During just during the summer, just during the winter. Sorry, in the winter we don't irrigate because to irrigate that field. It's not a flat field.
So you have
It's the south part of the field.
you see.
We have to like wait. They have to wait for that. I bet.
Oh, I'm so glad.
They don't think it's frozen.
And there's avocado.
Porcupine should.
These are the avocado trees.
Porcupine should. Because then the things go through their skin and they make more.
Try to smell it and recognize.
Is that eucalyptus? No.
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 Like anise?
It's anise.
Anise.
And from that anise they made the licorice. They give the taste to the arak and to the ouzo.
Yeah, that's.
That's right. It is like made into candy.
They give the taste to the arak. The people said that if you get to sleep during the time that you had the flowers, you can wake up drunk.
I'm
So it's a
kidding.
very strong smell.
If you taste it, you taste.
Now we can see part of the valley. In a normal day we can see the Golan Heights and the line of the on the Hermon, but today it's very hazy, so
Yeah, you can just barely see.
In other words, that's
But you save it.
with that machine we pick the avocado.
Save it with a
You see that machine? We pick with them the avocado, they can climb up for 6 meters.
oh, for heaven's sakes.
See the container, that with that container we fertilize the land. We don't do it by hands anymore. And actually with that system we can find if suddenly there's a hole in the pipe and
Take a picture of them.
Cotton is growing.
Not like a picture, like real. Hi, Granny.
Hi, Tal.
Look at Graham.
Grammy. Take a picture of the driver.
Got him.
and we can see the tractor. Most of our tractor is a John Deere.
Really? You know where those come from? It's a lot of cotton.
If you take a look to the left one, to the left side, you can see If you take a look to the left, you can see part of the heads that they left from last season. water line is the new developed. Even that we get more crops, more fruit with the drip system, it's take a lot of work to share the pipes and to collect them back. With the water line that moves by himself. It's like a robot.
That's when they're watering.
It's still working on the right side. Take a look, I think that maybe the wheels is still... No.
Come take a picture.
200 acres. Wow. That's a lot of water.
You get the long way to get the long way.
I know.
You're starting to right here.
Kibbutz covers 2,000 acres. Does it go all the way to the Golan Heights? Does it go all the way to the Golan Heights?
What? The land of the kibbutz? No, it's not one unit of land. That part is already beyond the...
Oh, Jeremy knows it. Yeah, he'll see it. Where the inside.
Look at how far the last car is. Look at how far the last
They
car
bow their heads and they're praying.
Look how far Jeremy's car.
You can see in every corner. You can see also in the right side of us.
And that's how they pollinate them. Oh, isn't
Boy,
that?
those bees can say, look at this.
Take the photovoltaic stuff from the container to the system of the water irrigation. Over here you get also solar energy from the sun.
Ah, sure. That little teeny thing.
Where do you get the solar?
Let's see the plate up there.
Oh, right here.
With that system the sun getting better, the spray getting better. It's easier to pick the fruit by hand. And
What is that up on the hill?
this is the kibbutz.
Oh, that's the kibbutz we're coming back
In the
to.
front of us we can see turkey farm. Over there there's around 500 tons of turkey that we have turkeys.
30,000 turkeys in there? Wow. They should.
And over there we're raising a year 500 tons of chickens. And this is the central place of food for the cow. In every cabin there's wheat, cotton seeds, hay. They mix it and then they give it to the cows.
Yeah.
Over here we produce around 2.5 million liters of milk. So,
It's a big cow. Can't believe they have numbers on it. Well, they sort of do black.
and sitting of disco and the theater with 1,000 seats that used for shows and movies.
Oh, for heaven's sake. How many people are there in the,
Too many.
in the... Jill? Talia? Did you enjoy it? Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that fun? Tell me what you saw.
See the nightingale? The peacock with
Yeah,
the
wasn't that
fan.
wonderful?
Wasn't that interesting?
I don't think I would.
It was very gentle. You know, he really... Did you enjoy it?
Coffee.
Where?
This is the place where Peter, St. Peter told Jesus that he thought he was the Messiah.
And there's skunk.
This is the Jordan River here, part of it.
What? You see the fish? Look.
Here I am at the source of the Jordan River. It's a beautiful spot with clear, clear water. And this is where part of civilization started. Okay.
Today is Jesse's birthday. It's June 20th. He's 9 years old. And look where we are. There's a big cave out there, and we're kind of learning the story about the Six-Day War. And we're in the Golan Heights, and it's hot, and we're going to have fun today, aren't we, Jess? Thanks, Guy.
Hi, Jess.
Hi.
Where are you sitting?
On the ground?
You know what the name of this place is?
No.
This is the bottom of Mount Hermon.
Cool.
It's the source of the Jordan River, one of the three streams.
I know.
You remember that story?
Yep.
I think there was a stream right below where your feet are.
There was?
In the spring when the ice is melting.
Cool.
Take a look right below your feet.
Cool.
In the spring of the year, a lot of water comes right through there and joins the waters of
The Jordan River.
the Jordan and the Hermon rivers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we're about ready to go.
Okay. Bye.
The 19-year-old boy, the flower of the family. Flower of Let's go up over there. Here by the tank.
Mom.
No, good pan.
That overlooks Syria.
In case Syria never catches it.
Yeah. Syria.
This is the UN development right at the border of Syria and Israel.
See that? This is the military equipment of the Israeli army.
As Izzy said, the United Nothing, because they do nothing. This is all Syria.
Everybody stand there 1 second.
And this is Israel.
This is like a town in Syria. Israel gave it to them.
Gave it back in an effort to make peace.
Yeah, they gave it back in an effort to make peace or something. There's the United Nations again.
And the most salty in the world. How it happened, we'll talk about that when we'll be in the Dead Sea. So the microphone gave me a sign that I talk too much. He's getting tired, so we'll finish with that.
you raise it in the river when it comes out of the spring water. By the time the water comes here, they are not very clear and not very cool, so salmon cannot be raised here. Only the St. Peter fish.
So the trout, their trout are salmon.
Trout is kind of a salmon. That's right. The native trout. Exactly. Now, the normal salmon is coming from the ocean, isn't it? Okay, this is kind of a salmon. But the one that you go, you know, and you fish it on the waterfalls, nearby on the rivers.
That's Nazareth, right under the cliffs, right?
Okay, this is a temple that was built over the place where Jesus came to Capernaum and spoke to the people. He was a teacher here, and so about 400 years later they built a temple over this place so that people could see. Are you getting the top part?
Yes.
Okay, and then push stop, and we'll get the underneath part of the original. This is the lower area, the original temple where Jesus taught.
When you get there, you'll get.
And on the other side is now a church built for St. Peter, built over the house of St. Peter where Jesus slept. And so then they now have built a church there.
You see, like what they call octagonal, 8-angle, that's right, 8-angle structure. And this is the first over the traditional home of St. Peter. And you see
I thought we were saving that for Jerusalem.
Stage, the semicircle called orchestra. Here this place had 3 galleries, not 2 like in Korea. Look over here, the white mark, the white beautiful stones. You see behind you the black one. What happened is that when the city was destroyed and actually was pulled down, the beautiful stones from the 2 upper galleries, there were 3. 1, 2, another one which does not exist anymore. They fell down over this area and covered these beautiful white stones. So it was covered and they didn't know about it. That's why you see these black stones, and the one, the beautiful that has been framed, they were stolen for other purposes, for other places. And try to imagine, as I told you, that always this kind of a wall was exactly on the same level like the upper gallery. That was, take these pillars, make them 3 times higher. That's how beautiful it was. But the earthquake destroyed the 3rd gallery, which was above, and supported by big pillars.
This would have been the time for my wide angle
On
lens.
the way back to the bus, please visit the toilets because they're clean and good. You can't find better than that here in this area.
That's where the
Also
synagogue
cold
was?
water, very cold water. Jill?
Excavation?
This will be amazing when we go all together. It already is amazing.
Truck?
From where? Look, where we come from. Exactly. From Beverly Hills, from Upper Town. And you have here the 3 levels. Now look in front of you. Look at these 7 arches. This is the hotel. Okay? From there, all the way down below, you see thousands of stones.
Whoa.
These stones,
For free.
this is the Church of Ascension, where Jesus descended.
I sure did.
And all the top of the mountain, over there, it's Holy for the City. Now we're going to go
They have
down.
a picture. Remember that picture of the Western Wall over there? That temple? Now you can see the real thing.
That's right.
I think that's the hotel where we stayed. The one with the
It should.
The button.
Okay.
It says something?
Yeah, it says record.
Record? Okay.
And
Yeah, make the Western Wall.
Does that say Yizkor up there?
That's right, for the 6 million Jews. 6 candles, 6 million Jewish people.
okay, now I'm going to pan in.
What's behind those doors, you said? Just this part here, or everything here?
Everything, of course, but this part is one of the most impressive ones. Yeah. I'm shooting. This is old Jerusalem. And sometimes you read the Bible and you think that Jerusalem was at least like 2 times more viewers. Actually, look much more than that. Now look on your right hand side, please. You see 3 towers. The first tower to the right, this is the Church of Ascension on the top of Mount of Olives, where Jesus raised to heaven. From the tower to the left, all the way the slope is with thousands of tombs. Yeah, third one to the left, this is the University of Mount Scopus. Tomorrow we'll be here on the way down to the Dead Sea. So when we come back. Okay? Now, can you see this or not? Where is it? Yeah, now look very much to the left, you see where these beautiful new homes. Again, you see about 5-6 houses with a red roof. top then to the left, you see one big square brown building.
Yes.
This is King David Hotel with antenna on it, yeah?
Yeah.
So from these two towers up to the
Why don't you sit there somewhere? You might be more comfortable there.
Everyone have a book? Yes?
Do you have a book for us, honey?
Yes.
All right. Everyone, you have one? I do. You have one, okay, so I'm going to put these away.
Rabbi, will it bother you if I use the
No, you
flash?
can do any cameras you want, any pictures you want. The official video man is already working.
Oh!
There's room on the edge there. You can sit, there's room there.
Jared, do you want to sit on the rock over here with me?
Okay. Just a couple technical instructions. I'm going to suggest that you do your readings. Clearly. So that everything will turn out well. And anytime you want to take pictures, Jonah ready? He's ready. Okay, I'd like to wish everyone an official Boker Tov, an official good morning. Jonah, I welcome you to Mount Masada. See, they gave you special treatment already. Izzy was telling me, so it's starting out the day fine. I would like to explain to you, did you discuss in the van or in the bus at all anything about Masada yet, or that's coming up?
That's coming.
Coming up, okay. Well, I'm just going to get you situated in this one room and give you that background so you'll understand why this is important. Herod the Great, you maybe have heard of, because Izzy has probably mentioned him. He builds the whole place. And in Herod's time, this is probably a storeroom and not much else, because there weren't that many people up here. It could have been empty. Just don't lean back too far. It's 1,200 feet down. We don't know exactly who was here then. We do know that he builds a double wall surrounding the fortress. Who's going to come up and take the place? I mean, it's more psychological than anything else. However, the Zealots, and Herod dies in 4 BC, 4 before Christ. The Zealots are the ones who rebel against the Romans, Jonah. And Jerusalem falls, the country falls, the country is devastated. They're early, I'm sure, before they commit a mass suicide, which you maybe have heard of. There were almost 1,000 Zealots. They lived in rooms like this one. One could imagine that there were 12 people living in this little space, because the leaders lived in the larger palaces, which were left over from Herod's time. But the common folk, they had to live somewhere, and some of them lived here. Because you see, this one actually has 2 levels. Maybe it was kind of sloping. You know, as a storeroom, what difference does it make? But it's Talit for Jonah? What is he going to? Which? Okay, you want one second. We'll say together. There. Baruch, with me please, Atah, Adonai, Eloheinu, Melech, Ha'olam, Asher, Kiddishanu, B'mitzvotav, V'tzivanu, Lehit'atev, Batzitzit. We praise God for commanding us to wrap ourselves in the fringe prayer shawl. Okay, we just fold it. Might want to remove your shoulders, that's fine. Or you might want to fold it like I did. It might be a little more comfortable. Fold it. You might fold it again. That once, and then do it one more time. That's it. That's a little easier. Okay. Jonah, I call this really a service of dedication. And it tells a lot about our people, about the land, and about the holy city that you are now visiting. So without any further ado, I'd like to ask Mom, Jill Marks, to begin, please, the paint box.
The paint box. I had a paint box, each color glowing with delight. I had a paint box with colors, warm and cool and bright. I had no red for wounds and blood. I had no black for an orphan child. I had no white for the face of the dead. I had no yellow for burning sands. I had an orange for joy and life. I had a green for buds and blooms. I had a blue for clear, bright skies. I had a pink for dreams and rest. I sat down and painted peace.
Jonah, you've been talking about peace for the last few days at all with Izzy? Some. How did your mom know and your dad plan the trip when there would be autonomy in Jericho and Gaza, and King Hussein would say, I'm willing to sit down with Rabin anytime, anywhere? The Syrians were not too sure. That's the problem. How did you know to come here at this particular time? It was Besher. You know what that is. It was predestined. It was ordained. It was decided on high. It was God's decision, really. It's just something that worked out really well. I hope, I'm not going to talk about peace, because it will never finish. But I hope you will keep your eyes and ears open. And when you go home, way back to snowy Minnesota, I remember, and you start, you know, and see on CNN, Golan Heights, East Jerusalem, West Bank. These will not be abstract ideas for you. These will be places that you saw with your own eyes. Whatever your opinion may be, and you know where there's two Jews, there's always at least 4 different opinions. The country is very divided about what's going on. At least you will have an informed opinion, I hope, based on your own personal observations. I certainly hope so. Okay, the cradle of our faith, a land hallowed by memories of kings and prophets and poets and sages. In all the ages of our history, and in all the lands of our dispersion, we have remembered it with love and longing, saying with the psalmist as we say together, if I forget you, O Jerusalem, let my right hand wither. Let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth, if I do not remember you. If I do not set Jerusalem above my highest joy. We celebrate the rebirth of Israel in its ancient land. We recall with gratitude the devotion of its builders and the valor of its defenders. We give thanks that we have been permitted to witness this great event and to be participants in this modern miracle. Jonah, a modern miracle is what you see happening in Israel in 1994. Tremendous construction, buildings, roads, infrastructure, electric power plants. You just look around. I don't know who was. I don't remember. Not a biblical miracle. That's something different. But a modern miracle. We are modern in so many different ways, and it's something I hope you will observe and notice. We join together. How beautiful it is for Kumanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Sybil and Seymour, if you would come to the bima, please. Responsive.
Look back on bitter suffering. Look back on noble endurance. Behold our faith and truth, our heroic trust in God.
Look back and wonder, what is this people? What is this meaning of its life?
I, the Lord, have called you to righteousness, and have taken you by the hand and kept you. I have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations, to bring the captives out of prison, and those who sit in darkness from their dungeons.
I have put my spirit upon them, that they may bring justice to the nations. Though bent like a reed, they shall not be broken. Though their flames burn low, they shall not be snuffed out. Faithfully shall they bring forth justice.
They shall not weaken, they shall not be broken. At last, to establish justice in the earth, as the most distant lands respond to their teachings.
God chose us. We chose God. There is a mystery here that reason cannot solve, nor cynicism dismiss. We can deny that mystery or we can humbly recognize it, each resolving to be a part of it and saying to God, Hineni, here I am, send me.
Generation after generation, in times of darkness as in times of light, we have heard the divine word. You shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. We have felt the joy of being God's servants. We have also felt the pain, for it has been our destiny to be God's suffering servant.
We remember the sufferings of the house of Israel, a people of pains and acquainted with grief. Again and again our peace has been shattered, our land usurped, our dwellings razed. The mind grows numb, and the heart turns to stone, to see our long travail.
Our foes were not content to give us pain. Their dream was darker still, a world without Jews, a world that would forget our very name. We cannot forget this, or be indifferent to its meaning. We shall remember.
I take an oath to remember it all, to remember, to forget nothing at all, forgetting nothing of this, till the grief disappears, to the last, to its ending, till the punishing blows are ended for good. I swear this night of terror shall not have passed in vain. I swear this morning I'll not live unchanged.
Thank you. Mr. Shem, may God remember the souls of our brethren, martyrs of our people, who gave their lives for the sanctification of His name. May their bravery, dedication, and purity be reflected in our lives. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life, and may they rest eternally in dignity and peace. Amen. And you know, Jonah, a lot of people think that Jewish history is only this first reading that we have done. Pogroms, problems. You know, we've had more than our fair share of all of these things, but certainly Jewish history is much more than that. However, there is a beautiful statement, a declaration of faith, I believe, with full faith in the coming of the Messiah. Even though Messiah may linger, may take his time, in spite of that, the Jewish people continues to believe. The Ani Ma'amin, and if you know how to sing it or hum it with me, please do so. It's also transliterated at the bottom of page 3. Ani Ma'amin, Ani Ma'amin, Ani Ma'amin, Me'emuna Shlema, Be'viat HaMashiach, Be'viat HaMashiach, Ani Ma'amin, Ve'af al pi she'yitmameha, Amin. And Jonah, in spite of everything that's happened, all the tragedies in the Jewish past, there's a big but. There's always been a Zion. And the rebuilding of Jerusalem gave hope and faith to generations of Jews in their dispersion throughout the world. Today we are witnesses to the realization of this dream as promised by the prophets of Israel. Jonah, these words that your aunt and uncle will read are from the prophet Jeremiah. 2,500 years ago, there was another destruction. The first temple was destroyed. The Romans destroyed the second temple. The land is devastated. A lot of problems. Jeremiah is sent into exile to Egypt. He says the people will return. 70 years later, they did. Less than that. The temple was rebuilt 70 years later. Then the Romans destroy the land once again. And it took 2,000 years of Jews wandering through the pages of history with their knapsacks on their back. And again they returned to rebuild this country. Jeremiah was right twice. He was correct. Maybe he knew or didn't know about it, but his prophecy came true. And Uncle Andy and Aunt Jill are going to tell us about that, please, beginning on page 4.
Escaped from the sword, found favor in the wilderness. Eternal love I conceived for you then. Therefore, I continue my grace to you.
I will build you firmly again, O maiden Israel. shall take up your timbrels and go forth to the rhythm of the dancers.
Again you shall plant vineyards on the hills of Samaria. Men shall plant and live to enjoy them.
For the day is coming when watchmen shall proclaim on the heights of Ephraim, "Come, let us go to Zion, to the Lord our God."
For thus said the Lord, cry out in joy for Jacob, shout at the crossroads of the nations. Sing aloud in praise and say, save, O Lord, your people, the remnant of Israel.
I will bring them in from the northland, gather them from the ends of the earth, the blind and the lame among them, those with child and those in labor. In a vast throng they shall return here.
They shall come with weeping, and with compassion will I guide them. I will lead them to streams of water, for I am ever Father to Israel.
Hear the word of the Lord, O nations, and tell it in the coastlands afar. Say, he who scattered Israel will gather them, and will guard them as a shepherd his flock.
Thus said the Lord, a cry is heard in Ramah, wailing, bitter weeping, Rachel weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children who are gone.
Thus saith the Lord, restrain your voice from weeping, your eyes from shedding tears, for there is a reward for your labor, declares the Lord. They shall return from the enemy's land.
And there is hope for your future, declares the Lord. Your children shall return to their country.
See, a time is coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. I will put my teaching into their inmost being and inscribe it upon their hearts. Then I will be their God, and they shall be my people.
Thank you. We're going to join together in a song. We ask God to purify our hearts, that we may worship Him, worship the in truth, the V'taher Libeinu. I hope they do this one also at the Temple Israel. If not, they're going to come along. V'taher Libeinu le'ovdecha, V'taher Libeinu le'ovdecha, 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 le'ovdecha be'emet. V'taher libeinu le'ovdecha, 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 le'ovdecha be'emet. V'taher libeinu le'ovdecha, 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 le'ovdecha be'emet. Jonah, you have breakfast? Libeinu le'ovdecha, 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 le'ovdecha be'emet. V'taher libeinu le'ovdecha, 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 le'ovdecha be'emet. V'taher libeinu le'ovdecha, 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 le'ovdecha be'emet. Le'ovdecha, le'ovdecha, le'ovdecha be'emet.
Faith of Israel demands of me no abdication of the mind. Abdication of the mind. I am a Jew because the faith of Israel requires of me all the devotion of my heart. I am a Jew because the word of Israel is the oldest and the newest. I am a Jew because the promise of Israel is the universal promise. I am a Jew because for Israel the world is not completed. Men and women are completing it. I am a Jew because for Israel, man is not created, men are creating him. I am a Jew because above the nations in Israel, Israel places man in his unity. I am a Jew because above man, image of the divine unity, Israel places the divine unity and its divinity.
Your job, Jonah, you're 13 now. The world is not perfect. You know that. Everybody knows this is not a perfect place. But men and women are completing it. Everyone has a job. Everyone has a responsibility. Everyone has a mission in life. And as you become bar mitzvah, you will start to think, what is your destiny? What is your contribution? How will you make this world a better place to live? That's tikkun olam, as we say in Hebrew. Something to think about as you come of age. Page 6, we all rise to proclaim the Shema, facing towards the holy city to the northwest as we sing together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Together, everybody please, very loud and clear. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavechatai v'yitem kedoshim leElohechem ani Eretz Yisrael v'yot lachem leElohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Creative mind. It is not only a piece of geography, it is history, it is theology, it is memory, it is Jewish tears and Jewish triumphs, it is Jewish anguish and Jewish ecstasy. It is childhood legends and biblical verses. It is the direction that we pray and the subject of our prayers. It is exile and homecoming. It is a burning temple and a new flag at the United Nations. It is Tisha B'Av and Yom HaAtzmaut, the 9th of Av and the 5th of Iyar. It is a people restored and hope reborn.
Thank you. Now, everybody with me again. V'Yehuda le'olam teshem. V'Yehuda le'olam teshem. V'Yerushalayim ledor vador. V'Yerushalayim. Hey, Jake. The eternal. Append these words about the feelings we're talking about. We asked Jamie, Jeremy, and Jesse are the participants for this one. Now you can come up to the table if you like.
Oh, your solution never be told, but never conquered, bent, never broken, mortal, immortal, youthful, tough through old. Egypt enslaved you, Babylon crushed you, Rome led you captive, homeless your head. Where are those nations, mighty and fearsome? You have survived them, they are long dead.
Nations keep coming, nations keep going, passing like shadows, wiped off the earth. You are eternal, you remain a witness, watching their burial, watching their birth. Pray, who may be revealed to you. Heaven's great secret, death and destruction, thus to defy. Suffering, torture, state, inquisition. Pray, who trusts you never to die.
Yes, and who gave you faith, deep as oceans, strong as rock hills, fierce as the sun. Hated and hunted, ever you wander, bearing a message, God is but one. Israel, my people, God's greatest riddle, will your solution ever be told?
Thank you.
What does it mean to be a
It means, everybody, it means to be a person who knows how to keep alive all that is It means to look forward to the redemption which is to come.
What does it mean to be a
It means to be a witness to the presence of God in the world.
What does it mean to be a Jew?
It means to be a person for whom Rabbi Akiva would feel a deep affinity. It means to be a person of whom the Jewish martyrs would not be ashamed. very much. Oh, how lovely Mehod, Gesher Tzar Mehod, Gesher Tzar Mehod, Kohalam Kula, Gesher Tzar Mehod, Gesher Tzar Mehod, V'ha'ikar, lo lefached klal, v'ha'ikar, lo lefached klal. Page 9 were the parents of Jesus, Joseph and Mary. You never read about a donkey in the New Testament. They walked to Jerusalem. They were Jewish people back then. And so, in that spirit, even though you flew in on a 747, you came to celebrate your bar mitzvah, just in the spirit of our ancestors of old. And Uncle Jeff will recreate that spirit for us as he comes to the bima, pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Going to the house of the Lord. Our feet stood inside your gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem, built up, a city knit together, to which tribes would make pilgrimage, the tribes of the Lord, as was enjoined upon Israel, to praise the name of the Lord. Thrones of judgment stood, thrones of the house of David. Pray for the well-being of Jerusalem. May those who love you be at peace. May there be well-being within your ramparts, peace in your citadels, for the sake of my kin and friends. I pray for your well-being, for the sake of the house of the Lord of God. I seek your good.
Thank you. It's a famous city. In the center of that city is a famous wall. I think you saw it yesterday. When it was reunited with the rest of the city in June of '67, since before that time, for 19 years, it was Jordanian and not Israeli. Immediately when this was reunited, not only did hundreds of thousands of people come to that plaza, which was plowed under there, the homes that were there were plowed under it to create that plaza, as he explained. But the Israeli poet, Yossi Gamzu, wrote these words. And we will join you with all the refrains, that's for everybody. But you will read this poem for us, Stones with Hearts.
A girl stood at the western wall, pressing against its lips and chin. She said to me, the shohar's sound is strong indeed, but stronger yet is the silence within. She spoke to me of Zion, the Temple Mount, was silent on kindness and justice clearly seen. But what shone on her brow in the dimming light was the purple of clean.
The wall needs moss and sorrow. The wall needs blood and rain. And there are with hearts of stone, and stones with the hearts of men.
Deep in prayer, said he to me, how blessed we all are, and then remembered, not all, not all. There he stood with tears in his eyes, amidst dozens of soldiers alone. He said to me, beneath the khaki, all of you are priests and levites, every one.
The wall needs loss and sorrow. The wall needs blood and lead. And there are,
said he to me, no shape has death, but it has dimension, in millimeters exactly 9. He said to me, the city rejoices, free and triumphant, united gold, but you mustn't look at me this moment. I've become in 1 week an eternity old.
the wall needs moss and sorrow. The wall needs blood and lead. Men there are with hearts of stone, and stones with the hearts of men.
She stood at the wall, a mother in black, as one of the infantry did her son Paul. She said to me, the eyes of my boy are glowing there, not candles placed on the stones in the wall. She said to me, writing a wish to slip in a crack is the custom here, as I've heard. But I'm writing nothing. What I gave to this wall is more priceless than letter or word.
The wall means loss and sorrow. The wall means blood and lead. And there are with hearts of sorrow and stones with the hearts of men. I'd like everyone to close your eyes, please. Joan, I'd like you and your family to be in touch with the original decision to come to Israel to celebrate the first of your 2 bar mitzvahs. And all the planning that went into that. And you fly over, you can just close your eyes and think about that. And Izzy is there at the airport to greet you. And you start your Israeli adventure, your Israeli odyssey. And so many new things are going to happen to you, and you're going to have hopefully a very terrific time, and how proud everyone is to be with you today as you celebrate your bar mitzvah. So we close our eyes to be in touch with whatever thoughts are going through our minds at this very lovely moment. It only works if you close your eyes, a moment of silent meditation.
Jeff,
They have Torah will travel. It's too young for that. It's 100 years old, at least. The shape of the letters give an indication that it was written in Czechoslovakia. And assuming that this is true, this would make this Torah a Holocaust survivor. You did Yad Vashem, yes, the Holocaust Memorial Center. And you learn there what happened to our people. Probably in bar mitzvah class or post-bar mitzvah class back home at the temple. Holocaust studies or some knowledge about the Holocaust as part of you, like you, who come to Israel to be bar and bar mitzvah. And you will notice the tree of life, that my wife was very diligent. My third Torah, 3 Torahs ago, when the original one, she did the cover. Needlepoint, it took about a month. And at the time, it was a labor of love, and it was dedicated. It says, Uveirachta et Adonai Elohecha. So we'll get the Torah ready for reading, and we're going to have the order as we talk. And Talia is going to hold the Torah open. יעמדו לראשונה לספר התורה, סבך חתן בר מצווה, שמעון 10 בן ישראל ינקל, וליבי בת יונתן. Grandparents, please, will come to the bima for the first aliyah to the Torah. Grandpa, please borrow a talit first for this aliyah anyway, and we'll give it back to
Baruch Adonai
Mevorach Le'olam Vahen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'asan banu es toraso. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen. וישראל האמורי, ולקרמה מפני העם, יבוא, ויקץ מואב מפני בני ישראל, ויאמר זקני בניין, עתה ילחכו הקחה וכספי בלתנו, כי לתוך השור את ירק השדה, ובלק בן ציפור מלך למואב, ויתהי.
Samanu Torah Tenet, Ruchayelom Nota B'Sofenu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Nosei HaTorah.
Amen. Mazel tov. And now we're going to transfer the Lasim to the mom and dad. Yamnu l'yashniya l'sefer HaTorah, Arech Atana bar mitzvah, Ben Chayil, Ben Eli, Ben Bela, Veshlomit, Bat Shimon, Ben Libi.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. וישלח מלאכים אל בלעם בן בעור בתורה על אשר הנהר ארץ בין עמון לקרוא לו לאמור הנה עם יוצא ממצרים הנה כיסה לעין הארץ ויושב ממולי ואתה לכנה לרע לי את העם הזה כי יצומו ממני, אולי אוכל לעכב בו, ואגרשנה מן הארץ, כי ידעתי את אשר תברך מבורך, ואשר תאור יואר. וילכו זקני מואב וזקני מדיין, וקסמים בידם, ועבד על בלעם, וידברו אליו דברי בלק.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nota b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. I'll just stay right here because this is your first of two bar mitzvah leos. You got one coming up, I think you told me October, but you have one today as you celebrate your Israeli bar mitzvah. Ya'amod, 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 Katana bar mitzvah, Yona ben Chayil v'Shlomit Chazak. Yona.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. ויאמר עליהם לינו פה הלילה והשיבות ידכם דבר כאשר דיברנה אליי וישבו שרי מואבים בלעם ומלכים בלעם ויאמר מי אנשים האלה עמך ויאמר בלעם מלכים בלק בן ציפור מלך מואב שלח אליי.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Jonah, I want you to stay here. Mom and Dad can go back to their places. I want to speak to you. Talia, thank you. You can go back and take your seat.
Don't let it trade him.
Rabbi's charge. You know what an electric charge is? You know, it's a charge. It's a message. And I feel kind of guilty what I'm going to tell you now. The school's over, and I want to give him a homework assignment. Okay, but it's not. But it's a very easy assignment. What I'd like you to do is to read the Balaam story, which is Numbers chapter, the book of Numbers in the Torah, chapter 22, 23, 24. It'll take you 10 minutes, maybe 15 at the most. And you will see here almost like a fairy tale. It's a story of a Moabite king, and Moab is over the river yonder on the other side there, over the other side of the Dead Sea. And it's another kingdom. The Israelites are wandering through the desert, and the Moabite king, Balak, the son of the bird, Balak ben Zippor, he has this idea. He wants to curse the Jewish people. What do you do if you want to curse the Jewish people? I mean, you just don't say a few words. You go out and you hire a professional, what you would call sorcerer, a professional curser, someone who gives double whammies. And this man is Balaam, who lives up there in Iraq somewhere up today, near the Tigris and Euphrates, near the rivers, as it says. And he sends messengers to try to entice this man to come. He doesn't want to come. He's actually a prophet. But he's not a Jewish prophet, and you've heard the term prophet, but he's actually a non-Jewish prophet. Finally, he's convinced, you know, I will grease your palm. You know what that means? I will pay you well for your work. I will grease your palm. And he comes. And then, of course, you see, there's a lot of contrast in the story. As they're walking, he's not walking, he's riding on a donkey. And the donkey sees the angel of God blocking a path, which is probably from here to the wall. And it says, and from kier to kier, from wall to wall, the donkey has nowhere to turn to avoid the angel of God. But Balaam doesn't see the angel, but the donkey does. And he sits down on the spot. And so he takes out his stick. You see in Jerusalem all these donkeys. Where you see donkeys in the Empress, stuff in the zoo. But here you see donkeys, you know, up by the Mount of Olives, the Mount Scopus. He was whacking his donkey and whacking his donkey. And he says, and the donkey, and he says, why are you hitting me? Where you ever hear of a talking donkey? Except of a talking snake in the book of Genesis. There's only 2 talking animals in the Torah, and the donkey is the second example. And he says, can't you see the angel of God? And then the donkey, this stupid animal sees what this professional magician cannot see. I mean, there's no bigger contrast than that. There's a very artistically well-written story. And 4 times, I'm cutting it short, but you can do this work? I mean, you gotta write me a letter, that you don't have to do, but I hope you will. 4 times, Balaam opens his mouth to curse, and the only thing he could say was a blessing. Because he originally said to Balak, the only thing I can say is whatever God puts into my mouth. You want me to curse? Let's hope it comes out a curse, but it didn't. It came out a blessing. One of the very famous phrases, how goodly are thy tents, O Jacob, thy habitations, O Israel. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov. It's a very famous prayer, part of a prayer, the opening line of a prayer in the prayer book. That is from this portion, this sidra. There's another line, and I'm going to end with this. What's the nature of the Jewish people? And that's the whole point of the story. Am levadad yishkon. The Jewish people is a nation that dwells apart. Now, what does that mean? It means in the Middle East, amongst 22 Arab countries, we stick out like a sore thumb. There's only one Jewish homeland. This is it. On a map of the world that you don't even have room for the eye. It's the size of New Jersey. You know how big the United States is. This is about as big as New Jersey. And consequently, the Arabs are of the opinion, many of them, that we're like the Crusaders. They came for a couple hundred years, 1,000 years ago. They were here and they went. They were conquered. They were defeated. That's what the Arabs think are going to happen to us. Most of us living in Israel think that the Arabs are wrong. But anyway, Am levadad yishkon, a nation that will dwell apart. And even in the United States, Jews, call them clannish, you have a JCC. Jews stick together. You know, they don't live just everywhere and so on. Some do, but many live in Jewish neighborhoods and so on. So, on the other hand, I was talking about you have a task, you have a mission. What is your role in life? What is your contribution to make to the world? I mean, I don't expect you at your young age to know exactly what you're going to do. They do. Now, I'm going to ask your grandparents to, I hope they agree with me, you can make his participation in such a class a little easier to bear and to endure. Maybe there could be a reward if he completes this mission. You will send him on the teen program when they come for 6 weeks in the summer, in about 3 years. He'll be 16 years old. You'll be, how old is your? 16. Okay, she's a perfect candidate, but she's here now. You will come back with 50, you're coming to the high school program. But he'll come, okay, either the high school program, which is not bad either, but you come back for a teen tour. There's 50 kids in a bus. They have the time of their life. My nephew did it 2 years ago on the Ramah program, and they're still thanking me for that. So anyway, we hope you will continue in some form or in some fashion, and that would be a great way to cap it off. So I've given you a lot to think about and a little homework to do, and I hope you will take it all in. Now we have something for you. One is from the Ministry of Tourism. There's a certificate here. We'll open it up afterwards. It says that Jonah Marks has come to Israel to celebrate Bar Mitzvah. We hope that you will frame this, put this in your room, and as you're racing out to school, probably like that, if you're like my son, at least a split-second memory of looking at the certificate and everything that this symbolizes, the trip, your preparation, the fun that you had, the experience that you had, and then your grandparents will know that the whole thing was worth it because of that beautiful 1/10 of a second split second thing. This is for you. Now, please come close. I would like to bless you with the Birkat Kohanim, the priestly benediction, the words from Aaron the high priest that are used on special occasions. I think everybody agrees this is a special occasion in your life. Yevarechecha Adonai Bishmerecha, may the Lord bless thee and keep thee. Yair Adonai Panav Elecha Bichuneka, may the Lord cause his countenance to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yisa Adonai Panav Elecha V'yasein Lecha Shalom. Jonah, may the Lord lift up his face to you and bless you with shalom and bless you with peace. Amen. At your Bar Mitzvah, to celebrate with you, grandparents, aunts and uncles, and the generation of the parents, and of course you, the generation of the future, and you're going to pass the Torah from generation to generation. At this service of commitment and rededication, we recall in our hearts the martyrdom and heroism displayed by the Jewish people in bygone eras, and the courage and faith of today's builders of Zion. The spirit of Am Yisrael, the Jewish people, can never be extinguished. According to Pirkei Avot, the ethics of the fathers, Moses received the Torah at Sinai and handed it down to Joshua. Joshua handed it to the elders to the prophets, and the prophets to the men of the great assembly. Today we are the modern link in the chain of tradition which spans thousands of years, sustained by the faith of the past, and inspired by the prophetic vision of the future. We join hand in hand to deepen our commitment to the ever-living present. So we start with grandparents. First one.
I, Shimon, receive the son of Yisrael Yaakov, stand in the tradition of Moses, Joshua, and the prophets of Israel. As they received the Torah and passed it on, so do I pass this Torah to my children and children's children.
I'm Libby, the daughter of Yonah Shon. Stand in the tradition of Moses, Joshua, and the prophets of Israel. As they received the Torah and passed it on, so do I pass the Torah on to my children and my children's children.
I, Ben Kail, the son of Eli, receive this Torah and pass it on to my child, linking our family to the unbroken chain of tradition and the faith of our people.
I, Shlomi, daughter of Timon and Eugene, receive this Torah and pass it on to my child, linking our family to the unbroken chain of tradition and the faith of our people.
I, Yonah, the son of Shlomi and Ben Sahil, receive this Torah and promise to keep its commandments and to live as a Jew.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Of our child, you have
Entrusted him to our care, to nurture, instruct, guide, and love him forever. From the depths of our hearts, we pray that we have been faithful to your trust and have done what is pleasing in your sight. Accept this child, O Lord, on this day of his consecration to our Torah and our people. We shall spare no effort to continue his Jewish education and develop his Jewish loyalties to the end that he may grow as proud, intelligent, and committed son of Torah and Israel. With hearts full of gratitude and humility, please accept this, our prayer.
Everybody together, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyimanu v'hingianu v'zman hazeh. Amen. Page 13, we think of the Zealots of Masada, great heroes and sages and leaders of generations gone by. Of the 6 million people who died in the ashes of the Holocaust, of Israeli civilians and soldiers who give their lives for the defense of the state of Israel, of the beloved of our own families who are no longer with us, with all of their memories enshrined within our midst. Everybody please rise, and those who would like to join with me to sanctify God's name as we say together. Yehei Shmei Rabbah V'Morach L'Olam L'Olmei Amayim Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Tzalal Shmei Kedusha V'Rikuk Le'Lam K'Matak Damirat V'Amav V'Imru Amen Yehei Shmama Rabbah Min Shemayim V'Chayim Aleinu V'Anko Yisrael V'Imru Amen Oseh Shalom V'Mamah V'Yatzeh Shalom Aleinu V'Anko Yisrael V'Imru Amen. Jonah, we end your service on a note of hope. I mean this in 2 ways. You are the hope, the pride, and the joy of your parents, your grandparents, aunts and uncles, and all the people back home who will enjoy this through the video that you're taking. We also sing Hatikva now, the Israeli Jewish national anthem, which means, of course, the hope. Cross your hands, join hands with everybody. This way. Okay? Everyone ready? The words are right there. People all over, especially Jonah, on this beautiful day on top of Masada as you celebrate your bar mitzvah. May God bless you with the blessing. We hope the blessing. Amen. And both your
Talia, give him a hug.
It's a rule,
Talia, give him a
Talia.
hug.
It's a rule.
Atta girl.
Let's watch out this puppy.
Not hot, so let's go on.
Bill!
I can touch it.
I can barely Look at this, watch this.
I got hot on my lip. I don't, Mom, I just...
I can't touch the ground here. It's burning.
You're okay now? Good. Is more time left?
Mm-hmm. Fine, Jeff.
Hey, come on, have a mud light.
It's okay. Go if you can.
He's with us. Can we go in now? Excuse me, can we wash it off in the shower?
No.
Whatever you want. I'm going to see. Probably would help you out.
Jamie and Andy.
I'm going in the shower right by.
I'm just going to get my face in there.
Where's Talia? There she is.
Sound off.
Sound off.
You're one.
1,
2, 3,
4,
5, 6, 8, 9,
10.
11. 12.
13.
There's that.
Did we give you a
Oh,
seat?
yeah, they said to give
I'm
me
going to,
away
honey.
when we get back.
I'm going to give it to Jill.
Are we going to the hotel now?
They're going to see the dinosaurs.
Jurassic Park.
I got some ice.
Stand up here for a moment, Izzy.
Well, once upon a time, yeah, a week ago, Yeah. Once upon a time, a week ago, a very nice family came from United States, from Minnesota, and I was assigned to be their guide. And I did my job as usual, and then I find out that they are the nicest family I ever had in my tour ever. And I enjoyed this tour so much that I'm going now to the office to say, don't pay me any salary, because I did it just for pleasure. And now, honestly, I really enjoyed every minute being with you. It was just a pleasure. You were so good and so nice. And are you a human being? Or you're an angel? I don't know. But both Moshe and me really want to thank you from the bottom of our heart of being so nice and share with us this beautiful country. And I feel that every word that I send to you, it comes right into your heart. And I hope that you will remember this tour, and it's going to be the beginning of a beautiful romance between you and this country. And every time you come here, I'll wait for you, and I will be more than enjoyed to see you here or there, wherever it will be possible. So thank you very much for everything, and have a nice ride back home. Thank you very much.
3 cheers for
Moisha. We have to get a wave from Moish too.
Hi, Mom.
Yippee hooray! Extreme! Moisha!